I was wondering this yesterday. I talked about Tom Homan and his $50,000 bribe that he took. Since Tom Homan likes to go on TV all the time, I was like, when is Tom Homan going to fess up to what it is that he was doing? Because the FBI, as we heard yesterday, they said they had him on tape. This is what he had to say to Laura Ingraham, though.
Address this article that came out over the weekend, and it was on our always reliable MSNBC, and they said that you took $50,000 in cash in a bag from an undercover FBI agent to help them win government contracts in Trump's second term. The DOJ said they concluded there was no criminal wrongdoing, but nevertheless, that story is out there, and I imagine you want to respond to that.
Oh, absolutely. Look, I did nothing criminal. I did nothing illegal. And there's hit piece after hit piece after hit piece. And I'm glad the FBI and DOJ came out and said, said that nothing illegal happened and nothing, no criminal activity. You're talking about a guy who spent 34 years enforcing the law. I mean, I left a very successful business that I ran to come back and work for a government again. I'm back on a government paycheck. Not only did I sacrifice my family sacrifices, I make sacrifices every day. I got more death threats than anybody. I got a security team around me, but guess what? My kids don't. My wife don't. I mean, I haven't lived with my wife in months because I don't want her to be here right now with all the threats. So after all the sacrifices, after serving my nation for all these years, they want to come on and dirty me up. And it's not going to end. There's a hit piece on me every 2 weeks. But keep coming, because you know what? Tom Homan isn't going anywhere. Tom Homan isn't shutting up. And Tom Homan's going to keep doing what he's doing, because working with President Trump's the greatest honor of my life. We're making this country safer again every day, and we're going to keep doing it.
Did you hear him say that he didn't take a $50,000 bribe, or did you hear him say they're going to keep coming after me because I can't hang out with my wife anymore, because I get death threats, or that there's always something coming for me? You keep them coming. Or did you take a $50,000 bribe? You saw also how Laura Ingraham set the whole thing up from, that very reputable place, MSNBC, had this report. Well, did you do it? You fucking liar. Did you do it? Because, they said there's video. As a matter of fact, even when this is, again, how authoritarianism works. When the people who are running the Justice Department and the FBI then say we'll drop cases based on absolutely nothing, because that's what they dropped it based on. He'll say, well, look, the FBI dropped it. We know, because the people who work at the FBI also work for the same group that you work for. It's a criminal regime. That's how criminal regimes work. But oddly, Tom Homan was, as stupid as he is, was wise enough to not directly say, I didn't do it. He just said, they keep coming for me. So, Caroline Levitt doesn't have that same, foresight.
So too, on the Homan investigation, can you just speak to, did the president ask the Justice Department to close the case, and does Homan have to return the $50,000?
Well, Mr. Homan never took the $50,000 that you're referring to, so you should get your facts straight, number one. Number two, this was another example of the weaponization of the Biden Department of Justice against one of President Trump's strongest and most vocal supporters in the midst of a presidential campaign. You had FBI agents going undercover to try and entrap one of the president's top allies and supporters, someone who they knew very well would be taking a government position months later. Mr. Homan did absolutely nothing wrong, and even the President's Department of Justice, even Kash Patel's FBI, looked into this just to make sure. They had a number of different prosecutors and FBI agents who looked into this. They found zero evidence of illegal activity or criminal wrongdoing. In the White House and the President stand by Tom Homan 100% because he did absolutely nothing wrong, and he is a brave public servant who has done a phenomenal job in helping the president shut down the border.
You notice how it always gets to them being a victim? Tom Homan did the same thing. I haven't seen my wife for months. I don't want all this stuff to happen to me. Do you guys know how long I served? I was a law enforcement officer. Law enforcement officers also become criminals many times, actually. But again, where she stepped in, it was, you should get your facts right. He never took $50,000. Well, bro, you might not want to say things so conclusively before you really get the full the full story going.
Many agents and sources involved in this essentially were really concerned because they did record him accepting a bag of cash. And most FBI seasoned investigators view accepting cash in a secret meeting that is surreptitiously arranged as sort of evidence of corrupt intent, someone realizing that they're doing something criminal and inappropriate. So that recording was incredibly important to them and a key piece of evidence. Legal experts told us that Homan could have been charged then, even though he wasn't a public official. He could have been charged with conspiracy or fraud in promising something improper in exchange for money. But what happened, to your question, was that basically, the investigation stalled as soon as the Trump appointees came into the DOJ and the FBI, and it was shuttered last month.
It's pretty direct. It seems that they have this guy on video doing exactly what they said that he was doing. And again, similar to the Epstein files, they can clear this whole thing up by just, showing us that none of that happened. Or maybe they'll just say, there's no video. It's not like Cash Patel and Dan Bongino and then Pam Bondi and the DOJ. It's not like all of them could come together and make sure that this thing never sees the light of day or that it disappears and now doesn't exist. It's why, again, there's no need to trust criminal liars. They're proven to be criminal liars. They've been criminal liars since they came into public view. So why now would we believe anything else that they have to say? Especially since they didn't even give a good reason why they dismissed this case. They just said deep state. Just in case there's any, this evidence does come out, people like Megyn Kelly, we talked about this yesterday on TDR with John, this particular tweet that she posted as well. She says, we do not care. Make sure she's in all capitals to let you know. Don't bother real Tom Homan. He's a national treasure. Based on what? What national treasure? Because he's got some gold nuggets bouncing around in his jaws every time he talks. Is that the national treasure that he's got hiding in his cheeks? They don't care. That's their whole purpose. That's the bottom line. Every time, again, these arguments get defeated in these discussions and get proven to be hypocrites and liars. The back end of the answer is always, okay, but I just don't care. Let me be a criminal. So if some petty thief, somebody who steals cars gets busted and then gets sent to trial, and then all the evidence is laid out there against them, and they go, "What's your defense?" I don't care. Well, your ass is going to jail. Your new tag name is I don't care, but you're in cell block C. But they feel that they have the power to say things like, I don't care that you've discovered that we're criminals. Because it's true, they don't care. But Scott McFarlane from CBS did point out that maybe something else is going to happen. Maybe some developments will come. Let's watch what he has to say.
You'll recall yesterday, when it comes to Trump administration border czar Tom Homan, the White House press secretary, pushed back on the weekend allegations, saying in so many words, Mr. Homan never took the $50,000 you're referring to, so get your facts straight. This was another example of the weaponization of the Department of Justice in the Biden administration. And the response from some Democrats has been what Congresswoman Mary Gay Scanlon of Philadelphia posted, which is, so there should be no problem releasing the FBI tape, right? We heard that call through the day yesterday and will again today from people pushing back, saying if there is some type of FBI tape, it should be released.
Scott McFarlane does like those daily breakdowns of the news that's coming for the day. And I've discovered that he does those kind of regularly. The guy has a very calming voice. He should be like, those automated like voice things when you're waiting on hold somewhere. Anyways, that was Scott McFarlane then talking about how the House, some Democrats in the House are pushing for something like this. So they point out that these media reports are pointing out that in 2024, they recorded Tom Homan. So what we need is, the information based off of this. It's pretty obvious that the Department of Justice and FBI initially planned to wait and see whether Homan would deliver on his alleged promise once he became border czar. So they have access to the people who worked on this beforehand. And what is it they did, what they wanted to see happen, and what they were waiting for. Somehow they feel like they can just dismiss all of that previous information, dismiss all these folks who worked on it, and probably have, actual things that they, put down on paper about what it is that they did in their investigation, and that it was all just made up. Who's making it up? MSNBC came up, made up this whole story. Even has the FBI agents that worked on it talking about their thought processes and how they went about it, about why they were waiting for the next shoe to drop to see if they could get him on even more serious charges, some more felonies based on him fulfilling these promises. What I'm also happy to see is that there's the Senate Democrats are also on this as well. Here's a letter that they sent. As members of the Senate Judiciary Committee, we're initiating a robust oversight inquiry to review Mr. Homan's actions prior to and since joining this administration, as well as the DOJ's role in ultimately shutting down the investigation into Mr. Homan. Also, given the urgent need to repair public trust, we request the full investigative file, including any recordings of Mr. Homan receiving cash from undercover FBI agents. So both the House and the Senate, Democrats at least, are asking to first have hearings. The House wants to have hearings where he has to come in and answer for these things, where he's going to yell at them like Kash Patel did last week and make himself look really bad. And then also they're requesting the full investigative file about this. It'll probably just as hard to get that investigative file as it is to get that file, from Donald Trump and his best friend, Jeffrey Epstein.